Former National Security Advisor John Bolton has been formally indicted by a federal grand jury. He was hit with 18 criminal counts on Thursday over his alleged mishandling of classified materials that prosecutors say violated the Espionage Act, with each count carrying a possible punishment of 10 years in prison. We'll break down the details of the indictment, which legal analysts are calling far worse than expected. Well, John Bolton is officially in legal trouble. The former national security advisor to President Trump was hit with a sweeping 18-count indictment on Thursday by a federal grand jury over his alleged mishandling of classified materials. That included 8 counts of transmission of national defense information and 10 counts of retention of national defense information, all in violation of the Espionage Act. That's according to a report from Fox News. It marks the third time in less than a month that the Justice Department has brought criminal charges against current and former high-profile government officials, coming on the heels of the indictments of former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. But on the surface, at least, Bolton's case appears to be far more serious. Each of the 18 counts that Bolton is charged with are punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine if convicted. Sources inside the Justice Department told Reuters that the case is viewed as much stronger than the ones against Comey and James. And Jonathan Fahey, a former Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary under Trump, told Fox News that the indictment was, quote, far worse than expected. The blistering indictment states in part, quote, Bolton abused his position as National Security Advisor by sharing more than 1,000 pages of information about his day-to-day activities as the National Security Advisor, including information relating to the national defense, which was classified up to the top-secret SCI level. The indictment also says that Bolton unlawfully retained documents, writings, and notes relating to the national defense at his home in Montgomery County, Maryland. As a reminder, Bolton and his mustache burst back into the spotlight in August after the FBI raided his Maryland home and Washington, D.C. office. That raid stemmed from an investigation into the long-standing allegations that he used a private email server to send highly sensitive government information to family members. The material, which Bolton appears to have used to write his 2020 memoir, included classified documents linked to U.S. weapons programs, discussions with foreign leaders, and intelligence briefings. At least some of the information was reportedly transmitted or stored through Bolton's unsecured personal AOL account and was later intercepted in 2021 by a, quote, cyber actor tied to the Iranian government. In total, prosecutors say Bolton shared more than 1,000 pages of information between April of 2018 and August of 2025 regarding his time as National Security Advisor during Trump's first term. Bolton reportedly shared the information with 2 close relatives believed to be his wife and daughter. One document reportedly revealed intelligence about future attacks by an adversarial group in another country. Others included intelligence on covert action planned by the U.S. government, information about sensitive sources and methods, intel that a foreign adversary was planning a missile launch in the future, and intelligence on a foreign adversary's leaders, to name just a few examples. Those documents were all classified as top secret. In a statement on Thursday, Attorney General Pam Bondi said, quote, there is one tier of justice for all Americans. Anyone who abuses a position of power and jeopardizes our national security will be held accountable. No one is above the law, end quote. But the former National Security Advisor continues to strike a defiant note on the serious allegations against him. Bolton was spotted Friday morning, arriving outside a federal courthouse in Greenbelt, Maryland, where he formally surrendered himself to authorities. He then pled not guilty to the charges before a federal judge, who released Bolton on his own recognizance and scheduled a hearing for the 21st of November. Bolton and his legal team continue to frame the case as a form of political retribution by Trump due to Bolton's long-standing criticisms of his former boss. In a statement on Thursday, Bolton said, quote, now I have become the latest target in weaponizing the Justice Department to charge those he deems to be his enemies with charges that were declined before or distort the facts. I look forward to the fight, to defend my lawful conduct, and to expose his abuse of power. President Trump, for his part, has not issued a formal statement about the charges. But when asked by a reporter on Thursday about Bolton's situation, he responded, quote, "He's a bad guy." All right. Coming up next, we learn that the admiral leading U.S. military forces in Latin America will step down from his post before year's end, despite rising tensions with Venezuela. I'll be right back. Hey, Mike Baker here, host of the PDB and also known far and wide as a gourmand, which is a fancy French word that means I like really delicious food. So, have you heard of Goldbelly? Let me tell you about this incredible company. It's got an amazing site where you can go and you can have America's most iconic foods from legendary restaurants delivered straight to your door, anywhere in the U.S. You can enjoy Chicago deep dish pizza from Lou Malnati's. You can get New York's famous cheesecake from Junior's, or even Franklin's legendary barbecue shipped from Texas. They'll even send the world-renowned stone crabs from Joe's in Miami. You got to give those a try. Beyond restaurants, Goldbelly also features meals from world-class chefs like Ina Garten, Daniel Boulud, and Jose Andres. You have to take just a bit of time to check them out and look at all the amazing foods that you can have delivered straight to your door. Look, I use Goldbelly because the variety is great. I've had everything from lobster rolls to ribs and brisket dropped off at the compound. The deliveries are quick, fresh, and delicious. So if you're looking for that perfect gift, or you want to impress your friends and family with an epic meal, that sounds like a good plan. The next time you host, just go to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code PDB. Again, that's goldbelly.com, code PDB, for 20% off your first order. It appears President Trump's cartel crackdown in Latin America is sparking some dissension in the highest ranks of the Pentagon. In an announcement that took many by surprise, Secretary of Defense, or Secretary of War, whichever you prefer, Pete Hegseth, disclosed on Thursday that four-star Admiral Alvin Halsey, who leads U.S. military forces in Latin America as the head of U.S. Southern Command, known as SOUTHCOM, will step down from his post before the end of the year, more than 2 years ahead of schedule. The move, of course, comes as tensions continue to escalate between the U.S. and Venezuela's Maduro regime. In fact, according to a report from Reuters, it's the Trump administration's approach toward Venezuela and regional cartels that is prompting Halsey's early exit after less than a year on the job. Anonymous sources that spoke with Reuters claimed Halsey has been clashing with Hegseth over ongoing operations in the Caribbean targeting suspected Venezuelan narco-trafficking boats, raising concerns about the overall strategy. Rumors then began swirling in the Pentagon earlier this week that Hegseth was preparing to fire him. Officially, however, Halsey's departure is being framed as a simple retirement. In a statement on X, Hegseth said, quote, "On behalf of the Department of War, we extend our deepest gratitude to Admiral Alvin Halsey for his more than 37 years of distinguished service to our nation as he plans to retire at year's end. His tenure as military deputy commander and now commander of U.S. Southern Command reflects a legacy of operational excellence and strategic vision," end quote. Halsey also declined to give a reason for his retirement. In a statement, the four-star admiral said, quote, "It's been an honor to serve our nation, the American people, and support and defend the Constitution for over 37 years. The Southcom team has made lasting contributions to the defense of our nation and will continue to do so," end quote. But Halsey's exit has prompted concern among congressional Democrats who have questioned Trump's legal justification for the military strikes on drug smuggling boats that first began in early September, calling it an abuse of Trump's executive powers. Senator Jack Reed, the senior Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee, said Thursday, quote, "Admiral Halsey's resignation only deepens my concern that this administration is ignoring the hard-earned lessons of previous U.S. military campaigns and the advice of our most experienced warfighters." As we've been tracking, earlier this month, the Trump administration sent a memo formally notifying Congress that the U.S. is in an armed conflict with Latin American drug cartels, designating cartel members as unlawful combatants subject to the full force of the American military. The memo marked an unprecedented assertion of presidential war powers that gives the White House more legal latitude to carry out military operations against the cartels. The Trump administration has rapidly built up military forces in the region, deploying guided missile destroyers, F-35 fighter jets, a nuclear-powered submarine, and around 6,500 troops as tensions with Venezuela intensify. Just this week, Trump officially authorized the CIA to carry out covert operations inside Venezuela. And as we discussed on today's PDB, 3 American B-52 bombers were spotted flying just off the coast of Venezuela earlier this week. Meanwhile, military operations against narco-trafficking vessels linked to the Maduro regime continue. On Thursday, according to sources that spoke with Reuters, the U.S. military carried out a strike on another smuggling vessel in the Caribbean, killing 2 suspected traffickers. For the first time since September, however, the strike reportedly left 2 survivors, who are now being held aboard a Navy ship. This will undoubtedly present some serious issues for the White House, specifically what to do with the 2 detained survivors. They can't hold them indefinitely on board the ship, so options range from letting them go, handing them over to another country for detention, turning them over to U.S. law enforcement, maybe placing them in Gitmo, and possibly trying them in a military court. The sources said the vessel that was hit was possibly a semi-submersible, as it appeared to dip below water during the operation. A helicopter was then reportedly dispatched to apprehend the survivors, though I want to stress that the Pentagon has not yet commented on the reports. The White House said previous strikes this year have killed 27 suspected narco-traffickers, and it doesn't appear that the Trump administration has any plans to ease the pressure campaign against the region's cartels. And that, my friends, is the PDB Afternoon Bulletin for Friday, the 17th of October. If you have any questions or comments, and I hope you do, please reach out to me at pdb@thefirsttv.com. And don't forget that a brand spanking new episode of our extended weekend show, the PDB Situation Report, airs tonight at 10 p.m. on the First TV. You can also catch it and past episodes on our YouTube channel. Check that out and hopefully subscribe. You'll find that on YouTube at President's Daily Brief, and of course podcast platforms all over podcast land. This weekend's guests include the esteemed Buck Sexton from the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. He's just back from Taiwan, where he met and interviewed the Taiwanese president and other officials. And we've also got Jason J. Smart reporting from Kyiv. So tune in. I'm Mike Baker, and I'll be back over the weekend with the PDB Situation Report. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, stay cool. Hey, Mike Baker here. This podcast is brought to you in part by Stash. Now, let me ask you a question. What if you could start investing without ever picking a single stock? With Stash, the experts handle the hard part for you. Stash isn't just another investing app. It's a registered investment advisor that combines automated investing with expert guidance, so you don't have to worry about figuring it out on your own. You can choose from personalized investments or let Stash's award-winning Smart Portfolio do the work for you. With Stash, investing doesn't feel like gambling. It's simple, it's smart, and it's stress-free. So your money can finally start working as hard as you do. Get access to world-class financial advice with personalized guidance for just $3 per monthly subscription. Stash has already helped millions of Americans reach their financial goals. So don't let your money sit around. Put it to work with Stash. Go to get.stash.com/PDB to see how you can receive $25 towards your first stock purchase and to view important disclosures. That's get.stash.com/PDB. Paid non-client endorsement, not representative of all clients, and not a guarantee. Investment advisory services offered by Stash Investments, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk. Offer is subject to terms and conditions.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment, a really positive, nice, and kind comment. That would be appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our daily updates.